Hello friends, welcome back to another Value Vintage Cards video. Most recently, Mr. Mangini replied back, threw a couple of really neat items at me, and actually accentuated one just a little bit more with some greater detail, and they're both Sisler items. Team issues, I for whatever reason, I haven't been able to dive in deep enough on that kind of thing. I think I've got a few where it's like a team collection, a postcard or something, but not a whole lot. So I don't have anything in the realm of a Sisler on a team item just yet. And I say just yet because I'm sure I'll get there. However, the other one he shared was really, it was a double share. it was a revisit. The Sisler picture. And the picture was kind of extra special because of it being in the very short time frame that he was with Washington. So about 30 games of his career was spent with Washington, and just happened to have that picture from that era. So super cool, super unique, just because obviously it's a pretty narrow amount of time that picture was taken. So I thought, since we've been doing postcards and some things of that nature, I would run through and share something I kind of discovered and came across. So I don't think I've even shared all of these yet, because my Sisler collection I've broken into like a million different videos. So this one is a exhibits. It's a blank back, so I wouldn't have shared it on the postcard back and forth. But this is a 1921. It does list him at the bottom there as being an infielder for St. Louis. That's a very common, popular picture. Love that image. Fantastic. So that's a 1921. 1925 exhibits, also blank back, so nothing exciting there. So still listed as St. Louis. What's really interesting when you get in closer on that, if it will focus well enough on the writing for me, it lists him as the manager, which is neat. But also kind of interesting and unique on this one is he is mentioned as, so St. Louis AL, it's made in USA. George Sisler. They added an extra S. Of all the people, you would think by then they would have had a pretty good understanding of who he was, but that's a 1925 exhibit. 1927 exhibit. Your eyes are not deceiving you. Lazy people, they use the same picture. Also listed as George Sisler with the extra S there. So at first I was like, geez, I got one. Why do I want to get two? But it really is fun to see them side by side, because then you get to see the variance in how the name's presented. So one has a little box. They're both listing as Sisler with the same team, but one has, the box to it and is a little more, tiny writing. This one's a little bit bigger, easier to read his name. Image-wise, obviously identical. But I thought that was kind of cool. So 25 and 27 exhibits. I'm glad I did pick up both. That actually turned out to be kind of a side-by-side that I appreciate. So 29 to 30, the foreign ones. When you can find these with, Ruth and Gehrig, or maybe Fox and Grove or someone like that, where you get a combo of huge players together, it's neat. Sisler's kind of there with more, we'd call commons. Everyday, this one's a postcard back, so that's getting back to our postcard idea, but it's basically Sisler and then some players that you may not have heard of. Contributors, but not stars. But that kind of rounds out some of the exhibits. The other fun thing, sorry, St. Louis, St. Louis, St. Louis. At this stage, he's with Boston. So the other thing I found that I had of his that's an exhibit, 26 to 29, postcard back. So it's a range of years. And I'll have to research if this really was issued over a course of years. Now I'm raising questions in my own head here. I don't know. This one I thought was extra neat because it lists him as being with Washington, which, as we know, is a very short picture of time. 30-game stretch out of that 4-year distribution range that card would have been potentially produced and distributed. So I wonder, do they list them with other teams for a 26 to 29 exhibits? Do I have something that's unique and rare, or did they just issue it all 4 years and said, we grabbed the team he was with at the time, and even though it's 30 games, that's what 4 years run worth of postcards got? I don't know. I'll have to research. Kind of fun. Discover new things. I also thought I would share, speaking of, jumping into blank backs. So if we're going back and forth on these things just a little bit, I thought I'd toss into the mix, just in that same theme, Canadian exhibits. So if we're going to stick with exhibits, let's jump Canadian. That makes for that set to be extremely unique. The Canadian exhibits are far more scarce. So 53 Canadian. I've got a few of them. I think that's something I kind of keep on the radar now that I know it's, exists. The easiest way to identify, and there's a lot of these on the internet, we'll just call it eBay, that are wrong, but it has the number in the upper corner. So sometimes they're lower corner, sometimes they're different spots, but you want to see a card number on those to verify that it really is a Canadian issue. So I'll throw that back at you. If a Canadian exhibit is within the collection, please share away. And also I'm going to show this thing, these Police Gazettes. I would be fairly certain you would have some of these in your collection, Mr. Mangini. But I've got the Sisler, of course. I think this was distributed somewhere around 1918, if I have researched and found correct answers. But I only have a couple. The other one I have is Eddie Collins. I love finding Eddie Collins stuff. I love it more when he's on the White Sox, because I think that's just, a little bit tougher, but it's the stretch that obviously I'd prefer to collect. But Collins is definitely, I don't know, maybe the second best second baseman, top 5 without a doubt, but behind Hornsby, maybe he's second. I'm not sure. But that's the other one I landed. And then just to share, because we've kind of chatted about this in the, I don't know if it was YouTube or Facebook, made mention of it, but that's actually the player that I added. So we mentioned this really, really tough set that I think you said you have not had the good fortune to land one just yet, but 1927 Honey Boy, Eddie Collins. SGC has graded 4 of them. PSA, if all things are correct, has graded only this one. So it is canceled. It has a hole punched in it, which you can kind of see there. You might be able to see better actually on the back, or maybe not. Yeah, not really. It's a rough condition. It's like an ice cream stain, destroyed kind of thing. But actually the image and stuff is still pretty fantastic. These are very, very hard to come by. Not super affordable, unfortunately. There you can kind of see that punch a little bit better there. But cool set. So 1927 Honey Boy. I landed the Eddie Collins. It's not a huge set, so there's not a whole lot of choices, but for me to find Eddie Collins in that era is ideal, so I decided just to go ahead and jump and, cool edition, and probably dump that set because it's hard to find them as it is, and there's a few other players I would probably enjoy having, but, I landed one that I enjoy, so I will take it. So that's what I got for you today. I will catch you all on the next video, and we'll see if John has anything you'd like to share in that realm. See you guys.